Okay, and the next type of sensor, other type of sensors are also used for this purpose. That is including pressure sensor, proximity sensor, engine control sensor, Hall effect sensors, and many more sensors are used for this purpose. Okay, sensors. Then sample and hold circuit. We all know the digital computers work in a discrete time domain. So this means that they can process the discrete sequence of values. Hence, values in the continuous domain have to be converted to discrete domain. That is, in the digital computers, we all know we are using this discrete signal, not continuous signal. For this purpose, we are using this sample and hold circuit. Okay. The figure shows the sample and hold circuit. So the circuit consists of a clocked transistor and a capacitor, right? The transistor operates like a switch, and each time the switch is closed by the clock signal. At that time, the capacitor is charged so that its voltage is partially. So the voltage is particularly the same as the incoming voltage V. After opening the switch again, the voltage will remain essentially unchanged until the switch is closed again. Each of the values stored on the capacitor can be considered as an element of the discrete sequence of values Vx. So that is generated from the continuous sequence VE. Okay. So V is the incoming voltage, and from that is next Vx is the sequence of voltages that is generated from the continuous sequence VE. Okay. So if the sample and hold circuit, we can say the circuit is ideal. Uh, it would be able to change the voltage at the capacitor in a short amount of time. Next one, A to D converters. What is A to D converter? That is just analog to digital conversion. You all know, right? We are supposed to, there is some analog signal, and if we want to use it in a digital form, means we give this to the analog to digital converter. Okay, under the first one, flash type of A to D converter. Okay, this figure shows that flash HD converter. It uses a large number of, in this it uses a large number of comparators here. So if you see this, there will be 4 comparators is used in here. So each comparator has one positive as well as negative input. Okay, so if the voltage at the positive exceeds that at the input negative, the output corresponds to the logical one. Okay, if that is if the positive Vx voltage is more than reference voltage, then the input is logical 1, and other if it is in the reverse manner, means we get the logical 0 as output. In this converter, all the negative inputs are connected to a voltage divider. Now if the input voltage Vx exceeds a constant voltage Vref, the comparator at the top of this figure will generate a 1, and the encoder at the output of the comparator will try to identify the most significant one and will encode the case of Vx greater than V reference as the largest output value. Next, the successive approximation method of this D to analog to digital converter. In this, the distinguishing between a large number of digital values is possible with the A to D converter using this successive approximation. That is, if we want to distinguish between a large number of digital values, so that is possible only through this successive approximation. The key idea of this circuit is to use binary search. Initially, the most significant output bit of this successive approximation is register is set to 1, and all other bits are set to 0. This digital value is then converted to the analog value. Okay. Next one is communication. So the information must be available before it is processed in an embedded system. So before processing, we must be available of the information. So the information can be communicated through various channels that are studied in the wireless communication. So that is, there will be some channels needed for the communication purpose. Channels are abstract entities characterized by the essential properties of communication, like maximum information transfer capacity and noise parameter. So if we transfer the signal from a transmitter and receiver, there will be various noise that all comes under this. So the probability of the communication error can be computed using the communication theory techniques. There will be various techniques to compute the errors that will be used in this. Okay, so the main requirements for the communications are real-time behavior, efficiency, approximate bandwidth and communication delay, support for event-driven communication, robustness, fault tolerance, maintainability and diagnosability, and privacy. These are the main requirements for the communication. We have to consider all these things for this communication purpose. Next, electrical robustness. There are some basic techniques for the electrical robustness. Okay, you can see in the next video.